Hello, welcome to Nerd Sheet.
Welcome.
We're here, live streaming YouTube. I hope so. I don't know. This is our first time doing live, so we're kind of testing it out. I'm here with the legend, Scott. How you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Let's see here. Let me just get this out the way so it doesn't look weird to everyone.
I'm so bald.
Yeah. Set that there just in case anyone hops in the chat. I doubt we'll get anyone, but it's all good.
Hell yeah.
It's all good in the hood. Hello. So, today's episode, Scott, we're going to be discussing the awesome WandaVision.
Yes, and awesome it is, for sure.
So, sorry, I got my little switcher here so we can see. Hey, there's Scott. How you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Excited.
And there's me. I don't know if everything's looking good, but oh, look, it's on my phone.
I think I got a notification. Yep.
Let's see. Let's see if the audio is good. I can't hear it. Hello.
Hey.
Can everyone hear us?
Hey now.
I need someone to look at it and see. Let me text my lovely lady.
Oh, it's coming through good.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, we're here talking WandaVision. So, Scott, let's start with you. Just your overall impressions of the first 2 episodes of WandaVision.
So I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it, but to me, it was nice. It felt great to finally have the MCU back after almost a year now. So it was like almost teared up a bit when the intro rolled and for the MCU, for the cinematic universe. So to me, that just meant a lot to have it back. So, but I was very impressed.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while since we've seen anything Marvel related. Did we have anything in 2020?
To be honest with you, I don't think we did. I think it was a marvelous year.
Because the last thing was Far From Home, which was summer 2019.
Yeah,
right, or a little after. I don't even remember. Honestly, it's been so long.
Yeah,
I think it was July-ish, right?
Yeah, that was the last thing we had.
Yeah, so
it's that was almost 2 years ago.
All right, so WandaVision I thought was great.
Yes.
I first 2 episodes, for the most part, all black and white. First episode to me was more 50s vibe, and then the second was more 60s vibe.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like each episode is gonna progress. I know there's what I looked online. There was 6 episodes.
6. I thought it was 9.
Was it 9?
I think it might be 6.
When I looked it up, it only said 6. So
it might be 6.
I don't really know.
I know there are a lot of those, like just like The Mandalorian, they're not doing too many like episodes, which is fine as long as you're packing a lot of content into it.
Yeah, but I don't even know the length of each episode. It was pretty short.
It's
right?
very short because the intro into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's like 40 seconds, and then the intro into the show is like a minute and a half, and then you got about 7 minutes of credits. So if you put all that together, it's probably like 15-minute episodes, to be totally honest with you. It's not long at all.
Yeah, but I still thought it was good. I love the first episode, 50s vibe. So that first episode, let's talk about. You had them moving into their new home.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a lot of the vibes of that comic book we read a few years ago, the Vision comic.
Yeah.
Just moving into a new home, new kind of suburban-y kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But even in the first episode, Vision himself, I feel like, was the first one to kind of be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
When he was at work.
Yeah, because he's like,
what do we do?
Yeah. He's just flying through all those forms. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah. And he was the one that was like, what do we actually do here?
And no one can tell him.
Exactly. He was like, what do you mean? We do this? Yeah, but why? Yeah. Oh, for this. And they just kept going back. And eventually he's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was the first hint at kind of like, okay, what is actually going on right now?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we move on. And I feel like Wanda doesn't really have that moment until they're sitting at the dinner table.
Yeah. When the boss starts to like choke on the food, that's when she's like, because what's her name's looking straight at her saying, stop it. Because I think they know what's going on. Like, because like
either they know what's going on, but I feel like because the lady with the 70s show mom, whatever, I don't know, I forgot her name, but she was doing that. Oh, stop it, laughing. But also like in her face, it was almost like she was like inside, she was like panicking.
Yeah.
And feeling like she can't actually control what she's doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't think she was like in on it. More of she's there being forced to be part of this world.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have control over what she's doing.
Yeah. I felt that too. And it's there's a lot of stuff going on. Like it can be confusing and you're like, what is really going on?
Yeah.
And that to me, that was Wanda's, that was her moment. Like, yeah, what is going on? Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And I even think Vision thinks that too. Like he got it right off the bat. Like, what? Like, what am I doing here?
But even that dinner scene, when the guy's choking, Vision's kind of looking at him choking.
Yeah.
Almost like he wanted to help, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Until Wanda said, Vision, help him.
Yeah. It's almost like he's stuck there too.
Yeah, so it's almost like that. It gave us the impression of Vision is also in that boat where like he's kind of like forced to be there.
Yeah.
And it also kind of hinted at Wanda is the one controlling
everything,
this place.
Yep.
A little bit it hinted at.
Yeah.
Obviously in the second episode it hints at it a little more.
Yeah.
A lot more. But also Vision removes the whatever he was choking on. I don't even know what the hell that was. But removes it, and then the guy just acts like everything's normal. Yeah. Oh, thanks for dinner, bud. They didn't even eat, and then he just left. Oh, everything's good. Which was really weird.
It was.
But obviously that's part of the whole vibe they're going for on like what's going on. But the coolest thing about the first episode is how they ended it. The whole hint, they sit down, it's like a sitcom clicker, and then it goes, but then it zooms out into the person watching.
Someone's watching it. Yeah.
Which is like, okay, is that the person in control, or is Wanda
in control?
Or did he like make, because there's a lot of rumors about who like the big bad in this is.
Yeah.
And I know they casted Evan Peters in this series.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who he's going to play.
Yeah.
The whole rumor is, maybe he's like the Quicksilver from the other universe and all that, because obviously her and Quicksilver, brother and sister. But then a lot of rumors was Mephisto.
Yes.
Maybe it's Mephisto.
He's messing with her.
Yeah, exactly. So my thought is maybe it's Mephisto's the one watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mephisto made a deal because he's, the devil. So he makes deals with a lot of people. He made a deal with Scarlet Witch to like bring Vision back to life. Because the last time we saw Vision, Thanos pulled the stone out of his head and he died. He's gone. So maybe to bring Vision back to life, it was like, okay, I'll bring him back to life, but this is the way that he's going to come back in this world. And something, it's a little weird, and I'm hoping they expand on it more.
If you look closely, there are a lot of Easter eggs. So the wine bottle that's being poured for dinner, the translation on the label translates to House of Misery in French. So it could be, because we know in House of M,
yep,
she controls the reality, because of to deal with the grief of like her children dying and whatnot. So she's controlling the reality around her. And then eventually it breaks, and she pretty much destroys the world at that point. But this could be a leading into the House of M series, that she couldn't take the loss of Vision, so she developed this entire reality where Vision's still alive, and it's starting to crack. It's starting to come apart. So there's little subtle hints at that, and if you look in the credits too, it says like special thanks. One of them is Brian Michael Bendis, who was in House of M, and then Tom King.
Was he the artist or the writer?
I think he was the writer. Yeah,
I don't.
And then it had an ode to Tom King, who did the Vision series. So if you look at the tie that Vision's wearing, it's the same tie from the Vision comic book.
From the cover. Oh,
yeah,
I didn't notice.
Yeah, there's little things that are subtle hints, and once I saw that, I had to go back and watch it, and I was like, wait, no, Brian Michael Bendis, he was on House of M. Like, why would they give a special thanks to him? That doesn't make any sense. This is a WandaVision show. It's not an X-Men show. So, and then the bottle, like I said, House of Misery. I think that's where they're going, to be honest with you.
And then I also I read that the commercials in each episode supposedly is like very important.
Yes.
And I know the second commercial in the second episode was the watch that had
Strucker,
the Hydra symbol on it and all that. But the first commercial was
Tony Stark,
something from Stark. What was
it was like a toaster.
The toaster little thing.
That could be a play on the first time she ever came in contact with Stark Industries. Obviously, we know in the movies is basically it took out Sokovia, a Stark missile. So this could be their tie-in, and then the watch itself is a Strucker brand. It says Hydra on it, but Baron von Strucker, experimented on Quicksilver and Wanda,
which supposedly gave them their powers. But I think they're gonna kind of shift towards the mutant angle and say that it didn't actually give them the powers. It like awakened their mutant gene.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how they did remember the first Deadpool movie?
Yes.
The first Deadpool movie is he went to, what was the guy's name? The villain? I don't know.
Ajax, remember?
Yeah. So, and, it awakened his mutant gene, the healing factor and all whatever the hell it was. Even though that's not how it is in the comic books, Deadpool. But, it could be something similar to that, the way that they're doing.
And I like the way they're going, too, because it's cool to see that type of show and that type of like what they're trying to accomplish. It's different. We haven't seen that, and there's actually rumors that Agnes might be Agatha Harkness, who is basically Wanda's mentor, and there's little, because she always wanted Wanda and them to have a baby and everything too, and that's Agnes was like, why don't you have a baby? So
yeah, no, it's that character is very interesting to me. Yeah. I do like that character. Really, all the characters, I feel like eventually will have a very important role.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Not just like throwaway kind of thing.
Yeah,
because I just feel like the way that Kevin Feige and all these people do, like, they're very detail oriented. They have a plan for every little thing.
They're planned out for like 10 years from now.
Especially in a series like this, which leads into certain movies and everything. I feel like they definitely, especially since they have so many episodes, to work with in terms of just a 2-hour, 3-hour movie. They really want to like put in these little tiny details to really build either this world in this series they're doing or build these characters for future things. So I'm looking forward to see like all these other characters and what they do. But let's talk more about the second episode.
So the second episode gets more in depth at the reality around him and how it's starting to like fade, because we're seeing color now.
Yes.
The helicopter comes in, and if you look at the helicopter, it has a logo for Shield, for Sword, which is a offset of Shield. So we're starting to see more and more, and she cuts her hand, you see red.
Yep.
So it's starting to like break down, and they even put Easter eggs as far as the box for the magic show. It's in the shape of the Mind Stone. They're planting a little bit of stuff in the Bewitched when they're coming in, and Vision goes through the floor. There is the head, like the hat or whatever from the Reaper, and he dies. Vision's wife kills him in the comic books. So you get it has a bone, and then it has like his mask and everything, like as he's going through the floor. So they're throwing in little stuff that you have to like really look at.
A lot of little stuff. And I'm hoping they do a different intro for each episode.
Yeah.
Because that second episode,
The Bewitched.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Such a good intro.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to rank all these intros, and so far, I don't know what's going to beat that one, because that was a great intro.
Well, now we're going to get the 70s, so...
70s, which... I don't really... Like, what shows were, like, really popping in the 70s? Like, Charlie's Angels?
You had, like, the Jeffersons and stuff, and Sanford and Son. I mean, they're not going that route, but you had these...
MASH was in the 70s.
MASH was huge.
I love MASH.
Yeah, my grandfather loved MASH. MASH was huge.
When was the A-Team? Was that 80s or 70s?
Yeah, that was 80s.
80s?
Yeah. Which would be cool for the 80s scene. But we're starting to see, like, and at the end of it, I hate to skip to the end, but at the end of it, we get full color now. Everything is,
yes. Yeah, they do the... Well, first, before that, they have the random dude that comes out the sewer like Ninja Turtles, and he's just like... in a bee suit.
Yeah,
right?
that's AIM wears that, which is a side like group off of Hydra. But he's on the back. He's got a sword logo. So I'm wondering if like AIM infiltrated Sword. So we'll see.
Oh, geez.
And she just says no.
Yeah, and rewinds everything.
And it never happened. The guy didn't even come out of the.
That's
sewer.
the other thing that kind of hinted at Wanda has a lot of control.
Yeah.
So it's like something I don't want this to happen. So she just reversed time.
Yeah.
It was like, boom. So I don't know. It's interesting to see like the way this works. And I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode, how it expands. And of course, everything goes into color. She's pregnant. We'll see how long that lasts. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But I think now we're getting 70s vibe in the next episode, and then probably 80s.
And she really is controlling this whole thing, because when they do the magic trick and she's supposed to be the one that, goes in the box, I forget what her name is. She's like, I was just backstage, and how did I get here? Like, she's controlling every little aspect.
Well, it's because they know who they are in this world, and they have like their powers and all that. Vision still has all. He still looks that he just changes his face and whatever. And he could still phase through things, which I didn't really know why he didn't just phase that gum out of him.
Yeah, how do you not do you even just stick your hand through your body and just like, boop, it's out? I don't get it.
Either way, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
like that
he was basically
funny.
drunk.
Yeah, it was pretty funny to see. I did like that, but yeah, Scarlet Witch still has all her powers and things like that, so she's able to do whatever she wants essentially in this world.
Yeah, it's. I think the next episode you're really gonna get. I know a lot of people were like, "Man, those are how did I watch that?" There's people online that are pissed off about it, like that was boring. But it's like, if you thought it was bad, it's gonna get better. To me, I liked it. I liked both episodes. It was something different. It wasn't your typical MCU movie or show. It was they gave us something different. And I think this next episode you're gonna get even more of what's going on, because in the radio when she's at the committee, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Like, I think they know. I think that's what in episode 1, someone's watching, and I think it's a Sword watching over this reality. Like, what is going on? Why is she stuck there? Who's keeping her there? And it could just be Wanda herself.
Yeah, so it could be like a double kind of. I don't even know how. Like, they're making us think the person's watching is the bad guy, but it's really like the people trying to figure out how she's in this reality and trying to get her out.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good theory. It could be that, and I was getting a lot of like Truman Show kind of vibes in this. Yeah. And like, because if that person that came out of the sewer was either part of someone trying to get her out, that means that she's physically somewhere.
Yeah.
And they can physically go into that place, which reminds me of Truman Show, where he was in that whole dome thing.
And then he just walks out like, goodbye.
Walks out the thing, whatever. But like, I don't.
I think she's the one doing it, to be completely honest. I don't think it's anyone keeping her there. I think it's her own doing to try to cope with Vision's loss,
Yeah.
the loss of Vision. And we'll see where it goes because it's very interesting. It's going to tie in a lot of stuff. And if they bring the X-Men in, like if this is the way that they bring the X-Men in, because this is basically the following the storyline of how she's just creating an alternate reality. Like I would lose my shit if like all of a sudden you get a glimpse of like the X-Men or like a mutant. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, I feel like by the end of the show, like the season finale, it's definitely going to be a big reveal to something.
Yeah.
Either mutants, X-Men, some other character debuting, you know, from the X-Men, maybe just one character showing up. Yeah. It's hard to tell what they're going to do for the big reveal, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I know they said before it's going to lead straight into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which doesn't actually come out till after Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it doesn't come out until I think next year or the year
2022. Yeah. And Spider-Man 3 is scheduled to, we'll see what happens, but scheduled for this December, so the end of this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how they're doing it. The COVID set everything back, obviously. It set timelines back and it rearranged how they released.
Because really, Falcon and Winter Soldier should have been out before this show.
Yeah, because that's how it was going to be released.
Yeah. Even Black Widow should have been out and all that. Even the Morbius movie, which isn't confirmed to be MCU, but Michael Keaton was in that trailer. So
I mean, if there's so much stuff that's going to be coming out, and I just hope that, you know, they say, you know, oh, you can't, like if they are doing the X-Men, you know, it'd be hard to keep it under wraps. I don't think it is. Like they've been tight-lipped about a lot of things. Like obviously not Spider-Man 3 because literally everybody on planet Earth is going to be in that movie. You know, you name it, you know, DC characters, Star Wars characters, everyone's going to be in that movie.
Yeah.
But I think they're, for something as big as X-Men, I think they're going to be able to keep it under wraps because I honestly have a gut feeling that the last episode of WandaVision, it's going to blow people's minds. Like, oh my God.
Well, I agree, and I'm looking forward to it. And a lot of headlines have happened in the past few days, but I just read, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, that supposedly Charlie Cox is like wrapped filming for Spider-Man 3. I don't know if it's true.
That's all this stuff that's coming out. I think Marvel is kind of like doing it on purpose now too. So some of these little leaks, like to get people amped up, or they could be false leaks. We don't know.
No, I mean, you know, Charlie Cox would be awesome to see. Just even if it's a short like scene. Just I feel like it always made sense to me, like helping Peter Parker, you know?
Yeah, like, hey, you know, I helped you out. Like, in the beginning of the movie, like, his obviously Mysterio names him as Spider-Man, you know, maybe Charlie Cox comes and just, you know, tries to put out that fire, you know?
Yeah, that was always my theory, that he comes out and just helps him with the whole, oh, he's not really Spider-Man, look at this evidence, blah, blah, and just, but, like, really, Charlie Cox is like, I know you're really Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, like, you owe me one, right? I know. But it's like I agree with you. Maybe beginning of the movie, just a quick little court scene, and and that way they put that whole secret identity thing to bed that they ended the last movie with. That way, it's all said and done, and we don't need to focus on that story because, of course, a lot of the times what screws up Spider-Man movies is putting too much in the movie.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire. Too much stuff in there. Venom, Sandman, the second Green Goblin, the whole thing with him and Mary Jane, everything. It was just a lot going into that.
And you get emo Spider-Man.
Yeah, the whole dancing scene. And then, of course, Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. You got Peter and Gwen Stacy's story, the Peter and his parents' story. You got the Electro story. You got his best friend Harry turning into the Green Goblin. So way too much in there, and I think that's the downfall of these movies. Not necessarily like, yeah, sure, the Venom in the Tobey Maguire wasn't the best Venom, but let's not act like that was the only issue with the movie. Like, there's a lot.
Oh, there is a lot of
stuff
stuff
wrong with that movie.
But I also think that it was forced down Raimi's throat. You know, like the studio just like, put this in there. All right, now put this in there. Now put like it's.
I agree. He wanted to do the Lizard.
Yeah, the Lizard was what? Amazing Spider-Man #1 with Andrew Garfield. They focused on the Lizard, right?
Yep.
I thought Sandman was great in Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Just Spider-Man 3, not Amazing.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3. I thought that they completely screwed up who Venom is.
Just fundamentally, like as a character, and I'm talking Eddie Brock too.
Yeah,
Eddie Brock was literally like a carbon copy of Peter, just more of a douchebag.
Yeah, and he was more jacked too. Like he was
in the comic books. He's not like Peter Parker. He's a bigger dude. He's still a photographer, into journalism and things like that. But and the way Tom Hardy did it in Venom was like perfect. That's who you want to be Eddie Brock. He's more of a raw kind of dude, and you can tell he lifts weights and But the way they did it with what's his face from that '70s show,
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace is fine as an actor and all that, but Eddie Brock isn't another Peter Parker. He's not that. You know what I mean? And then, of course, when he turns into Venom, they made it seem a little bit more carnagey, like the animation, like the way he was more monstrous in a more like Carnage way, and not in a Venom way. Which, again, Tom Hardy's Venom, it just gets it so much better.
It does.
And although I remember we talked about the Venom movie a while back on Nerd Sheet. Before the movie came out, a lot of people weren't sure if this was going to work without Spider-Man. And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Everyone knows that. And I love Venom too. And I love when that story with Spider-Man and Venom. But I got to say, they made it work.
They did. They did. I was in the same boat with you, and I think we saw it together. And I was pretty impressed with the movie. I think they did a good job with Venom itself and exploring his, the way he comes about. Obviously in the cinematic universe is going to be totally different than the comic books, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie, and I'm just not down with. I like Woody Harrelson. I just wasn't down with his goofy ass red wig that he was wearing. That was just kind of
the wig was not great. I feel like he is a great person to play Cletus Cassidy because we've seen him play
Natural Born Killers,
that kind of vibe. I feel like for the sequel, and maybe they already did this, I don't know. I feel like establish him with the stupid curly red hair, but like while he's in prison he just shaves it off, and then just go from there.
Get rid of it.
We don't need the red hair.
No, we don't.
We don't need it that comic book accurate. Just a psycho serial killer, and he gets the Carnage symbiote. That's all we need,
because Carnage is one of the most. He is, to me, the most violent of all the symbiotes, because he's just that symbiote and Cletus Cassidy are like
that combination.
Oh my god! And even Venom's not as powerful as Carnage. It's
the way the symbiotes work is each offspring is more powerful than the last or whatever. So technically, Carnage is more powerful than Venom, but then what's the other one? Toxin? Is after Carnage.
I think so. I think it's Toxin.
Toxin is more powerful than Carnage technically, and then all the others, whatever.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Yes, so many, But Scream and who was the one in the Venom movie again?
I forget.
Yeah, there's so many.
Because there was a couple in the Venom.
I do
movie.
like Scream though. I thought they were gonna do Scream, or at least hint at Scream a little bit in the first one, but apparently it was just that one. But I forgot the names of them. They're like Scream. Thrasher was, I don't know.
Yeah, Thrasher. I think one of them was Thrasher.
But they're all pretty cool, and obviously I prefer they focus on one at a time. We don't want any Spider-Man 3s going on here with too much stuff. But Carnage, I'm looking forward to. Another headline was, of course, Chris Evans
coming back.
Supposedly signed a deal to return for one movie. Supposedly. No other information on that. No what movie it is, what role he'll have in the movie, big, small, this or that. We don't really know.
Do you think it would have something to tie into Falcon and Winter Soldier?
It's possible. I feel like it just depends on which movie it is. Like once they announce which movie it is, then we'll kind of
maybe it's Multiverse of Madness, and maybe it's just a harken back to when he was Captain
thinking.
America,
A multiverse kind of thing. Maybe like a movie that takes place in the past, but also he'll be frozen. So it's hard to really tell what it could be. If it was a film of all the ones that are happening right now, my guess would be Multiverse of Madness, just because anything can happen.
And he doesn't need to do the whole movie. It's just like it could be like 2 scenes or a scene,
or even like his scene in what was it, the Thor Ragnarok, or the one before that? I think it was the one before that, Thor: The Dark World, where Loki transforms into Captain America or whatever. It could be something like that, stupid, but which will definitely be a letdown for the fans. I think if it's Multiverse of Madness, they won't be as mad, but also it's still kind of like a throwaway kind of thing. It's like, he's not really back.
Yeah.
Anything that's like, oh, he's not really back, I think the fans will be let down.
I'll be pissed.
But I don't know, man. It's tough to say what this could mean for the future of the MCU.
I'm just confused as anyone as where they're going, because you have WandaVision, and then you have Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then you have Loki. Where are they going with all this stuff? And I know everything's going to tie into a movie somehow, in some way. I'm lost at their direction. I know they know, but it's like, where the hell are you going with all this stuff? Like Shang-Chi is coming out in July, right?
I'm really looking forward to
that. Oh
yeah,
that.
I love me some martial arts movies.
Oh, I think that's going to blow up. You take these. That's what Marvel's good at. You take these little known characters and they blow up, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
blew up. No one really knew of that unless you're a hardcore comic book geek. No one knew who Guardians of the Galaxy
Even
was.
me, like I read comics and stuff, but like I knew of like some of the characters, like Groot. I knew about Rocket.
Yeah,
I didn't really know about Gamora too much. Like I kind of knew Thanos had his daughters and stuff, but I didn't know specifically each one in their story.
Yeah.
And then Drax, I didn't know about at all. And Star-Lord, I didn't know about, So like all these characters, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then you read a little bit more about them, you get to know them.
Well, that's why I think Shang-Chi will be big, especially because in the Asian American community, just like Black Panther was, I think that's going to blow up. And who knows who they introduce it. I don't know too much about Shang-Chi because I haven't really read into much of his comics. And I haven't really read too many comics where he's been in it in like a crossover event. So I'm not too...
Yeah, I was just looking through my I think I have like one issue that has Shang-Chi in it. And I think it was with Spider-Man or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew of Shang-Chi beforehand was his association with the dragon Fing Fang Foom.
Fing Fang
Foom, and then the 10 rings and all that. And then like I remember seeing a list of best hand-to-hand combat fighters in Marvel, and he was like the top of the list or something. Like I don't think anyone can handle him in a like not Iron Fist was like up there, but like not even Iron Fist could.
Taskmaster, could he? Because
Taskmaster is a different kind of like he'll just once you do a move, it's hard for you to because he can. The
only one that's been able to really top him is Deadpool.
So I mean. But Shang-Chi hand-to-hand combat, which I hope they really hit on in the movie. I want to see some martial arts. I want to see some fighting scene. I want to see some like Ip Man, Donnie Yen kind of stuff.
Kung fu fighting.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be let down in that area, which I'm sure, it's rare that MCU lets us down with anything.
No, it's very, very rare that they do a subpar movie. And even if it's subpar, it's not a bit compared to like what DC's been putting out. A subpar Marvel movie is better than most DC movies that have been put out.
Although I still say, I know a lot of people disagree with me, Suicide Squad was pretty enjoyable.
It was so garbage.
So enjoyable. I'm not saying whether it was comic book accurate, any of that stuff. I'm just saying I had fun watching the movie.
See,
I was along for the ride.
I totally disagree. I thought that movie was trash. I literally... I don't think I saw that in the movie theater because I just knew it was going to be trash. I saw it on TV and I like the ads and I was like, nope.
I saw them in the movie theater by myself.
Yeah, probably you were.
I think that was the first time I ever went to the movies by myself. I got myself a latte because I was a little tired and I had some free time. I'm like, I'm just going to go watch this movie. I watched it. I was like, it was pretty enjoyable.
Were you the only one in the theater?
No, it was a good amount of people in there. It was good. But I haven't seen a lot of the DC movies. Actually, I haven't seen Aquaman or Shazam.
See, Aquaman to me, remember we used to talk about it when it first like the trailer. I'm like, oh man, this movie's gonna be such garbage. And then I saw it with my friend Matt, and I'm like, damn, that was actually a pretty good movie. Like it wasn't like I went in there because you know me, I sometimes I make prejudgments before I go in, and I went in to the movie theater like I'm gonna hate this movie. Came out like that was a pretty good movie. Even Jen was like, oh, that was pretty good. Same thing goes with Justice League, right? So Justice League, that looked like an absolute abomination from the get-go.
Yes.
I left the movie theater and I was like, all right. So it was okay. It wasn't great. It was kind of bad, but it wasn't on the level of, you know, like Batman and Robin and stuff, shit like that.
I was on the same page with Justice League. I went into it hearing all these reviews and critics and fans just trashing it. And then after I saw it, I was like, well, it definitely wasn't as bad as everyone's making it out to be. You know what I mean? It was okay. Yeah, Superman's face was weird. Yeah. Because of the whole facial hair thing, whatever. But it wasn't as bad.
I didn't like how they rushed a Justice League movie, to be honest with you. It's like, all right, I know you're trying to catch up with DC, but like introduce these characters properly first before you throw in Aquaman, before you throw in Flash, you know, before you throw in Cyborg. Do something.
And I get they were trying to catch up to Marvel, but what they should have done was be like, you know what? Who gives a crap about catching up to Marvel? Yeah. But let's still kind of use their formula. Mm-hmm. Who cares if people say, "Oh, they're just copying the Marvel formula"?
It's been successful, yeah.
You know what I mean? As a business, you're like, "Yo, if I'm a local coffee shop and I see Starbucks their business plan is doing really well,
yeah, you're gonna try to copy off that. Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
It's. I feel that same way with DC because DC doesn't get enough love. I know Nick doesn't really read any DC. Nettie and Tommy don't really read any DC. But to me, I grew up reading Batman. You know, I grew up reading Batman versus Predator. That was probably my first book that got me into comics, to be honest with you. I picked it up like at a yard sale, and then like a friend of mine growing up had a bunch of books, and they gave them to me, and I had a lot of Batman stuff and Batman versus Predator. But I think DC, if they really, you know, put their heads together and really came up with, you know, something good, I think people would go see it. Like Wonder Woman was amazing. Yeah. But the second one, though, I know you have, I don't know if you've seen it.
I saw it. Yeah. We could talk about that in a little bit. But when it comes to the DC movies, now, just imagine how successful they would have been if they started with Man of Steel, which I know you were like iffy about. I thought fantastic freaking origin movie. Started with Man of Steel. Then don't hint at anything being just Wonder Woman. It was the next movie they put out. The first Wonder Woman. Yeah. In the past, no hint at Superman, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the Wonder Woman movie is you do a little secret thing, like after credits or something. It kind of hints at them being in the same universe. Yeah. Then you do the solo Ben Affleck Batman movie. Yeah. Which, you know, he wrote a script for a solo Batman movie. People in Hollywood, people that talk and stuff said it was like the best Batman script ever written. Yeah. Which, unfortunately, they're not going to do that.
He probably got some help, too, from Kevin Smith on that. Because...
Well, both of them are huge comic book guys, too. You know, that's how their friendship kind of grew and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, you know... And then all of a sudden they have those three movies established. Then they do a Flash movie. And I think that'll be good enough to kind of then do a Justice League movie that brings them together. Just with those four characters. Because to me, when it comes to DC, those are the four
big ones.
You know what I mean? Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. Yeah. So do those solo movies, then bring them together. Mm-hmm. And in that Justice League movie, you can introduce Aquaman, maybe not. I feel like Aquaman, not even Martian Manhunter.
There's rumors that he might be in Justice League.
The dude that played the general is actually Martian Manhunter and all that. But introduce him in there, and then all of a sudden, after that, you're like, okay, you announce now we're gonna do an Aquaman movie, and eventually he's gonna also come in.
Same
They
thing
would have
Marvel
been so
did.
much.
Yeah,
Yes, they would have been so much more successful.
yeah.
Man.
Because in the Marvel, how Wanda got introduced was in Age of Ultron. You
Yeah.
know, and same thing with Vision. You know, that's how they introduced Vision. So they could have copied that format because
Yeah.
DC's been around longer than Marvel. They have stories into the golden age. You know, they have so much stuff that they can go into, and it's just sad because I feel like they get a bad rap because they started so late. I mean, well, DC's been doing movies longer than Marvel has. You know, obviously back in the 80s, but
Well, even before that.
oh yeah,
60s, 50s Superman
Yeah.
TV show, 60s Batman TV show with Adam West, and they did the movie in
there's so
1966.
much stuff. It's just I think the way that I think it comes down to the way that DC's run internally, and we got everyone doing whatever they want to do.
They don't have a Kevin Feige.
No, yeah, exactly. They don't have a person there who's actually like, no, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Like everyone just shouts out ideas like, oh yeah, let's do this, and it's not cohesive and it's not put together.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it is what it is. I feel like the only thing that can get them out of it is like this new stuff that they're doing, like the Wonder Woman sequel. Was it bad? No.
No.
Was it as good as the first one? No.
No.
Was it a great movie? Still no. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was, I'm not even going to say it was okay. I would say it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Just some issues with it story-wise.
Yeah.
A little bit character-wise, but mostly story-wise. I thought that Cheetah was going to be bad, but really she was actually pretty good the way Kristen Wiig portrayed her. I thought, because it's Kristen Wiig, so I'm like, well, literally when she first showed up in the movie, I couldn't help but start thinking of SNL skits. I'm like, but then, you start to see her character and she progresses and it comes out pretty good. What's his name? Mandalorian.
Evan Pascal, wasn't it?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, sorry.
His character was, over the top. And when he first shows up, I get it.
Yeah.
He's like that TV kind of salesperson. Oh, come buy stocks and this and that. And that's kind of like his personality because he has to portray that on TV. But I feel like as the movie progressed, it kind of went a little bit over the top with it. Could have dialed it back a little bit more. So that character was a little iffy. And then the whole concept of wishes, and it's like
you're basically just a genie at that point.
A lot of people were like, oh, so he's Jafar, he just became a genie. And it's like, and honestly, as I'm watching it, I wasn't even thinking Aladdin until I saw people posting it. I'm like, damn it, they're right.
Yeah, it's a ripoff of Aladdin. I agree. I went into that movie like pumped up because the first one was, I was like, damn, Wonder Woman was a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I saw the trailer. I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And then I'm watching and I was like, I kind of got bored at one point. I was like, yeah, man, this is like, the story is just like, man, like, where are we going with this? It's all right. So he's just granting wishes and all of a sudden he's more, the more wishes he grants, it's taking a toll on his body because it's taken away. Like, the more, you get from it, the more it takes away from you.
Which I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't really explain why it was doing physical damage to him. But then, like, the whole concept, I didn't understand because it was like, he can grant someone a wish. And with him doing that, he says, yes, but you also have to do this. Okay, so he gets his way with that. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's taking a physical, like his nose is bleeding. Which they didn't really explain why it was doing a physical toll. But then his solution was just to do more wishes.
Yeah, I was lost by that. I was like, okay.
And then by the end, where he's projecting it to the whole world or whatever, how did that not kill him? Because he's granting everyone's wishes. Wouldn't that take a toll on his body? So either it takes a toll on his body, but it also heals his body. It didn't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense at all. I was like, okay, like, I'm done with this movie at that point.
I didn't really understand that whole thing. It was a little cheesy. Some starts was cheesy. Now, what's Chris Pine? I thought he portrayed Steve Trevor really well, like he did in the first one. He's awesome.
And he got to fly the invisible jet.
The invisible jet scene was pretty cool. Just to have that there, and obviously it's not like her main thing, like 'cause she flies.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see a little. I feel like it was a cameo of the Invisible Jet. Like, hey, here's a little wink to you fans, so you can have the Invisible Jet. But it was the scene of her flying. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was watching it with my girlfriend, and literally I was like, this is the corniest thing I've ever seen.
Because she's like, hey.
And then she does the whole flying thing. I was like, this is so corny.
I did like the mid-credits scene, though.
The mid-credits scene, yes, I did.
I was like, all right, now that kind of redeems a little bit of what we just sat through.
Just to see her there and like, oh, she's the warrior, the legendary warrior. That I thought was really cool. But yeah, no, the flying thing was a little cheesy for me. And so Steve Trevor, though, I didn't understand. So obviously she made a wish to have Steve Trevor back in her life or something.
Yeah.
Why did he have to be in the body of some other random dude?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I was like, what? Like, why couldn't he just physically come back? I don't know. I don't know what. And then at the end, she meets that same guy, and I'm like, all right, so now they're a thing. Like,
yeah, it was like, did you tell the guy to wash his sheets or something? 'Cause you guys were doing some stuff there. But yeah, no, it didn't make sense to me. Like, why he had to be in someone else's body and take over someone else's body. Like, and then, of course, the whole wishes thing where she does the lasso, and for some reason the lasso lets her communicate to everyone too.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then she tells everyone to renounce their wish. And a lot of people do, but no way everyone's renouncing their wish. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not.
There's no way everyone's going to be like, all right. And the freaking guy who like gave his wife a heart attack or something.
Yeah. I hope you drop dead. And she's like, drops dead.
And then how do you not immediately renounce your wish?
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. I as soon as that would have happened,
you were waiting for Wonder Woman to give you an inspirational message to be like, all right, my wife can live. Like, what? Dude. No, and of course, there's a bunch of people who like probably wished, I don't know.
Everyone wished for like cars and money.
Why would they need to renounce it? Not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that one guy wished for a farm, and he's got cows all in the middle of the city and stuff. He's like, yeah, I wish for like a farm, but not here, you know?
But no, it was a lot. It was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
It was good. Just, I don't know if I'd watch it again. The fight scene with Cheetah was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wish it could have gone longer. Like, I get how two villains and one of, like, the basic formula in even comic books and stuff, it's two villains. One's like the brains and isn't physically a threat, but is pretty much behind the scene. And then you have that one like boss you got to get through to get to the main boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was Cheetah, with Maxwell Lord being the final boss, I guess. I just feel like they could have extended that more and kind of like had their fight like be a little more epic. Yeah. It was still a good fight, but I feel like it could have been more epic. And I didn't really understand, because technically she got 2 wishes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the rules of the thing. Like, she did the wish at first, which gave her Wonder Woman's powers when it was just the stone. And then maybe because he became the stone, it resets and she gets another wish. I'm guessing, whatever. But then she wishes to be a cheetah.
Yeah, that I was like, okay.
It was like, okay, all right, if that's what you want. But then at the end, you see that she turns back to her human form, which kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I kind of liked her as Cheetah. Like, and they already said like she's gonna be coming back and stuff. But like, how does she become Cheetah again if she renounced her wish? I don't know. Or maybe she could just turn back and forth, and they're gonna make that a thing. But I don't know. I feel like the comic, and I haven't read a lot of Wonder Woman comic books.
Neither have I.
But I do. I could have sworn I remembered something about one of the reasons Cheetah doesn't like Wonder Woman and stuff is because she's stuck as a cheetah.
Yeah.
She can't go back to being her human form, and that creates a lot of anger for her. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not in the comic books. I don't
know. Transitioning out of Wonder Woman, did you see that James Gunn, I was reading, he posted like something on Instagram. He, just for fun during COVID, while, you know, everything was shut down, he literally wrote an entire Peacemaker series in 8 weeks.
Yeah, Yeah, for Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about that with Nick on
Yeah.
the podcast a while ago, and how John Cena is getting his own
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, oh wow, he just literally came up with that out of the blue during COVID. Let me just write like a series, and now it's actually a thing. Like he didn't think it was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that because I think James Gunn is one of the best directors out there, and his vision is pretty awesome.
And it shows like that they do have a lot of faith in that character, which makes me look forward to the Suicide Squad movie, the new Suicide Squad movie. Because, you know, John Cena, it's John Cena, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but I'm not saying he's like a super good actor. But for them to have enough faith in what he did with the character, plus James Gunn's writing, to give him his own series, it definitely gains my interest.
Absolutely,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what it does. And I don't know much about that character.
No, neither do I.
But, hey.
I'm interested in the Suicide Squad show, in the movie in general. Because I saw they put out the trailer, right? No, they didn't put that.
They down.
What did they put out? I saw it. Oh, I'm thinking about the trailer for the Suicide Squad game. I think that James Gunn's going to do an amazing job.
Dude, James Gunn, he's awesome, and his creativity is always good.
And now he's back in Marvel's good graces with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then they're going to do a holiday movie. I think that what DC has now is a good makeup of stuff, like the trailer for that Batman movie.
Oh my god.
So I was like, okay, like we're getting a badass Batman. Like I was very, very skeptical on Robert Pattinson.
I'm still skeptical.
He's a glittery vampire, all right? But when I saw that trailer, I was like, okay, I can get down with this. Like, he is brutal. Like, he was just beating the shit out of someone, and he wasn't stopping. He was just, like, going to town on him. And I was like, what?
I'm still a little skeptical, mainly because was the trailer dope? Yeah, I think he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I've never thought he was a bad actor or anything. I think he's amazing. Physically, it's kind of skinny. And I know it's another, like, oh, he just became Batman.
Yeah.
Ugh, I get it. Ugh. Christian Bale also in his first movie just became Batman, and he was a buff.
That's DC's problem too.
He was a buff dude. Yeah, they keep resetting Batman. It's like, come on. I loved how Ben Affleck's Batman is like, no, he's already been Batman for like years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, a veteran already. But this new one, does it look cool? Yes. I don't know. He's kind of skinny. I didn't like the way his hair was. It reminded me of Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3, kind of that whole gothy look. But I feel like with the way this story is shaping up and stuff, and the way Robert Pattinson looks, he could have been a great Terry McGinnis, and they could have just done Batman Beyond and just have Michael Keaton be old man Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, I would be down for that. I love Batman Beyond. It was one of my favorite TV shows.
So good. It's on HBO Max now.
Yes.
Which is dope.
Well, HBO Max has some good shows. You have, to be honest with you, Teen Titans is not bad. I
saw the first episode. Titans. I still got to watch the rest.
Yeah, no, it's very dark and wasn't what I was expecting, but I was pleasantly surprised. Swamp Thing, I watched the first episode. That was pretty dope. Haven't watched Doom Patrol yet, and I haven't watched any of the animated stuff. I'm not. So
I'm going to watch Young Justice season 3 because I love that show when it was on. And me and my girlfriend just watched the season finale, season 2, just to refresh our memories on what happened. So we're gonna start watching but they have the original Teen Titans cartoon, which I love. Really? They got Batman the Animated Series now on there. Batman Beyond's on there. I'm waiting for Justice League and Justice League Unlimited to be there. Because, like, when it comes to DC TV shows and cartoons and stuff, I know a lot of people love Batman the Animated Series and stuff, but Justice League was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Like, when Justice League came, because, you know, as a kid, I'm a little kid in the 90s, and Spider-Man's like my thing. It's colorful in this. Batman the Animated Series was very dark, and the stories were a little more serious. As a kid, it's like, I'm not really into that, you know. Justice League came out and is more colorful, and the stories were a little bit more interesting, not as dark. But also, I wasn't like 6 or 7. At that point, I was like a little older, so I can appreciate it more. I'm sure now as an adult, I can go back and watch Batman the Animated Series and have more appreciation for it and the stories that they do, especially the Mr. Freeze one, which I know a lot of people were like,
I love it.
It's one of the best like animated stories done. But I'm really looking forward to when they drop Justice League and Justice League Unlimited on HBO Max. I love that freaking series.
I'm interested for when they drop the Justice League Snyder cut, but to me, I never really been a big fan of his. I'll check it out to see what they're gonna throw in it, because that Justice League movie was the way they put it together, because they had Joss Whedon come in. It wasn't cut right, and you could tell.
Yeah, it was really weird. The pacing was a little weird.
Yeah, it would like transition weird. Like, wait, what? There was something else was supposed to be there, and it was a little bit more campy than a typical DC movie. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm waiting for. That should be what soon, right? February or March, something like that.
This year, but now I'm not gonna say I'm like super excited for the Snyder Cut, because I feel like a lot of people are like overhyping it, and it's like, all right, this is a random example, but Chris Rock, the comedian, he had a special, I think 2019 or 2020, whenever it was that he dropped. It was called Tambourine or whatever. Mm. And then like last week, it was like, oh, it's Chris Rock's, like it's like Tambourine, but it has more footage that wasn't in the first one. And I watched it because I love stand-up comedy. I watch it every night. And it's like, it's pretty much the same thing. They just throw in a few more jokes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be the Snyder Cut, where it's like, yeah, it's overall pretty much the same movie.
Yeah.
With a few extra things in there. It's like, is it really going to change people's perception of the movie? Change like the impact of the DC EU extended universe, their whole movie thing? No, it's just going to be a thing with a few extra scenes. Maybe it'll be better, maybe not. I don't know.
Because I'm wondering how this whole rumor of Martian Manhunter is going to go. Because Martian Manhunter is one of the most powerful characters in the DC. Like, even Superman says, like, no, that dude's legit. Like, I wouldn't want to face off
Superman,
against Martian
that's the only
Manhunter.
one that's like, yeah, I'm scared of him.
Yeah. But there's so much good stuff out right now. Like, from between Marvel, between DC, between Star Wars, all this, the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba. It's just, there's so much stuff to be grateful for, and for 2021, because 2020 set us back in so many different ways. And I feel like once the Mandalorian came out, like, things started to me get back to normal. And like, as far as like the nerd universe, it started like, all right, this feels normal now. And now that we got WandaVision, which, like I said, it's amazing. I thought it was really, really good. And then you're gonna get, the Justice League. You're gonna get, hi baby.
Got a comment from Scarlett.
Oh, that's awesome. But to me, I'm very excited for 2021, because you got Shang-Chi, you got the new Spider-Man movie, you got the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV shows.
Black Widow, finally.
You got Black Widow, which I think they should have released well before, and they should have just dropped it where someone paid $30 for it or whatever, and then after a while make it free on Disney Plus, like they did with Mulan. I'm interested to see where that's going to go too, because WandaVision, they showed, Loki, they showed, that was clearly Black Widow.
Looked just like her,
sitting there, and I'm like, okay, she's out there still,
But also, it's not the Loki from our...
No.
Right, because the whole time thing, it's shifted, and now there's a bunch of different timelines. So he's the Loki from that one. The Loki from our universe is dead.
Yeah.
Thanos killed him.
Yeah.
He's done.
And that was in the opening scene of what? Which one?
Infinity War.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? They're gonna start off the movie like this?
Yeah, they're killing Loki, and then so this one, the Loki series, is clearly that other one. They established that in the trailer that he's the one that got the Tesseract and whatever. So it could be, because when they showed Black Widow, it kind of looked like it could have been like the Soul World or something, like she's in the Soul Stone.
Kind of like Red Skull was.
Yeah, so it could be that the Soul Stone, it doesn't have any multiverse. It's just one. Mm-hmm. So it is that our Black Widow. So it's a possibility she can come back. But also I heard that in the Black Widow movie, they're establishing the other lady as the new Black Widow,
Mm-hmm.
like the younger one. I don't know if it's her sister or whatever, that weird family, whatever. But I forgot the actress's name, but there's rumors that she's going to be the new Black Widow on the team or whatever. So see what happens.
And you get Taskmaster, which I'm excited for.
Yeah. Taskmaster better be badass.
I mean, that'll pump up your book.
Yeah.
If he's badass, that'll pump up your book. Because Taskmaster is one of the craziest villains out there. Because he can basically copy every move that you have.
I hope he doesn't die.
No, I don't hope he doesn't die either. But transitioning into that, Deadpool 3. They've officially announced that it's going to be in the MCU.
Officially MCU, officially rated R.
Yeah. That to me blew my mind. I was like, all right, awesome. Like Ryan Reynolds is working on a script. It's going to be rated R. They're actually going to do an MCU. How are they going to put him in like some type of like Avengers movie or
so what I
Spider-Man Deadpool?
I told my girlfriend, I said, this is the only character from the Fox universe that they can bring in.
Yeah.
The only one. You can't bring the same actors to play. And I love Michael Fassbender, all them people. Yeah, sure. But Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is the only one who you can bring in because he's a character that breaks the fourth wall. He knows he's in a comic book. He knows he's in a movie, TV show, anything. So literally, you can just have his third movie be in the MCU rated R, and he's just gonna poke fun at the fact that he just came from Fox and is now in this universe, and the other ones aren't, and this and that.
And then he can't say fuck, and he can't. Oh, sorry, I just said it. But
you know, like it's the perfect character to do it with, and you can't do that with any other character.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny. I wonder if they're gonna like censor him, like he's gonna try to swear and just get censored out, and he.
But it's rated R, so
no, I'm talking about like when they eventually like put him in a crossover movie. Yeah. You know, and he can't say what he wants to say, and he's getting bleeped out or whatever, just like in the comic book. So I'm excited for that because Deadpool's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I love Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds' interpretation in the newer movies, not the original X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ooh.
Yeah, or Green Lantern.
But the last thing I remember they announced was that Michael B. Jordan is officially going to be in Black Panther 2, which I think he always was going to be.
Yeah.
It's just they made it official now. Obviously, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, it's very sad. And a lot of people wanted him to be Black Panther and Shuri and all these people, blah, 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 which I'm tired of having that whole debate.
Yeah.
Everyone knows my opinion on this and what I think of it. But Nick, when we did the podcast with the My Bros, Nick had a really good theory, which is like, where he said they should do like a Killmonger redemption arc.
They could.
Which is, you know, it could be similar to Winter Soldier. Like, you know, hey, he had to do his own redemption. It's a little different because mind control, but something like that. And I know a lot of people want Shuri to be the new Black Panther. And taking everything that's happening with Killmonger coming back for the sequel and and obviously no T'Challa, the only acceptable thing that I will be like, you know what? Okay. Other than them recasting T'Challa, which they're not going to do, is if you want Shuri, Shuri to me cannot be the next Black Panther.
No.
However, if you want to make her the queen of Wakanda and the ruler now, cool. Do that. Have her be the ruler, and then have Killmonger do a redemption arc. And eventually he comes to terms and he, you know, whatever, he's now a good guy, whatever you want to call it. And he becomes the Black Panther.
Yeah.
He's the only one who's taken the flower, whatever it's called. And so he's the only one with the powers of the Black Panther.
Yeah. So
the only thing I can think of is he eventually becomes the Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And Shuri is the real, because they don't have to be the same.
No, they don't.
You know, when Chadwick Boseman's in Civil War, his father was the king.
Yeah.
Until he died, obviously, and then later on they do the ceremony in the Black Panther movies when they do the ceremony finally to have him be king. Mm-hmm. But his dad's the king, and he's Black Panther.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't need to be the same person. The ruler of Wakanda doesn't have to be the Black Panther. No. It just, with T'Challa, it happens to be one and the same. I'm wondering if they bring Killmonger back, does
Mandarin bring him back? Because that's how he gets brought back in the comics.
That
the
is
Mandarin,
how the Mandarin and all those things.
But they screwed up the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, so it's like, how are they going to redeem that? That would be pretty awesome. But I'm kind of upset of that. I mean, I can't get upset. Well, I guess I can with T'Challa, because when they purchased the Fox, I was like, oh, we're gonna get Storm and Black Panther.
I know,
because they're married in the comics.
I know.
We're gonna get a Storm Black Panther, marriage. I'm like, oh, all right.
I was looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
It's very sad. Which, another reason why it might be a little selfish of me, but I do want them to recast T'Challa because there's so much more you can do with that character, and it's also very important to the community, African American community, to have that T'Challa character, a strong, African American male to like really look up to for these little kids and stuff. And don't get me wrong, Shuri is also that character that a lot of young African American girls can look up to and things like that. But you don't need to really do that with her, like make her the Black Panther. Like she is a scientist.
Yeah.
Let everyone look up to her in that way as the intelligence part of everything, how you need to be a strong, intelligent when you can strive to be that. You don't need to have her be a warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep them separate. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Whatever they do, I hope is good. That's all I can say is I hope they do a fantastic job. I hope the movie makes a lot of money. And I hope they can keep all of these characters going.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, I feel like the better thing to do would have been recasting T'Challa.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that's my opinion on it. But with Nick's theory of a redemption arc with
that would be great.
And I was looking, I forgot who posted this online, but guy I follow, Popcorn Planet on YouTube, had a live thing with some guys, and one of the guys said, hey, we never see Killmonger die. He could have just been kept on ice like Winter Soldier was. Mm-hmm. Shuri is now the ruler, but there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on with Namor, which a lot of that stuff is going on. But I heard also they confirmed Dr. Doom is going to be in Black Panther too.
Which would, oh my God, Dr. Doom, guys, that's my favorite
supposedly
Marvel
is
villain.
Confirmed. It's not like official, but that's like what's going around that Dr. Doom is in Black Panther too.
Yeah. Dr. Doom is by far my favorite Marvel villain. If they introduce him, I will lose my shit because they've messed him up in both Fantastic Four movies.
Absolutely.
They have not done him justice because
totally
he is. I think that Killmonger redemption story I think it'd be interesting. How they bring him back I'd leave it up to them because I don't even know how they bring him back, but. Who else was rumored? So it was Dr. Doom and then Namor. To get Submariner in there because I like Submariner.
First mutant.
Yeah, and he predates as far as like if you're a comic book nerd, he predates Aquaman.
Yep.
That would be amazing. But the biggest character I think they need to introduce. This is going off of not Black Panther, but it's Nova. I've been waiting for Nova for so long.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a Guardians kind of.
Yeah, bring him in Guardians.
But to Dr. Doom, though, the way I see it playing out is I heard one of these guys talking, and I think it's a good theory, is Dr. Doom isn't necessarily the main villain, but he's kind of like a behind-the-scenes villain. Mm-hmm. You see a little bit of him, kind of like Thanos in the first Guardians movie, where you still see him, but Ronan the Accuser is the villain. And kind of like Dr. Doom is kind of pushing the whole conflict with Atlantis and Wakanda.
Yeah.
And kind of like making Namor and them battle it out. And Shuri, being the new queen of Wakanda, is feeling all these pressures and she can't really do the whole Black Panther thing because she doesn't have the flower or whatever the plant was called. So she eventually has to unfreeze Killmonger, ask for his help. Obviously, there's going to be tension there.
Yeah.
And, all that, and you can do the conflict with Killmonger and her and the whole Killmonger and their whole tribe. And then eventually Killmonger comes to terms and they have a one-on-one fight with Namor and something or whatever. And by the end, they find out, hey, we could just be cool. And it's really Dr. Doom that's doing all, something like that.
I would love that if that was the plot to Black Panther 2. That to me I wouldn't even mind that, that they didn't recast T'Challa or whatever. Like, as long as you have a good storyline, that to me, what you just said, I'd sign up for that movie in a heartbeat.
The other thing that people said was that Black Panther, like T'Challa, is actually still going to be in the movie, just with the Black Panther suit on. Mm-hmm. So obviously it's not Chadwick.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have him die or not, but if they do have it, I think the coolest thing to do would be, if you're going to have him, pass away in the movie, have Dr. Doom be the one to kill him.
Yes. That just establishes Dr. Doom's like
how badass he is. And Dr. Doom pretty much frames it so that they think Namor is the one who killed him. And that just, sets up the whole thing of Dr. Doom pulling strings and this and that, the whole conflict. Shuri wanted to get back at Namor, can't actually physically fight him, recruits Killmonger, this whole thing. The whole story, I think, could be good. I don't know.
Namor in the comics, like he was fighting against the Fantastic Four and everything, and like the first 4, 5, 6 issues of the first Fantastic Four, like he was like pretty much a villain. If they were to do that, that'd be pretty awesome. Like, see him facing off against Wakanda.
Yeah,
I'd love it. I'd sign up for it.
I mean, still, I would prefer they recast T'Challa. If not, that theory I just said, that's my next thing is
that would tie up a lot of loose
because you can still have Shuri kind of take over the throne of Wakanda and rule Wakanda, but not make her Black Panther. Instead, keep them separate and have this guy be Black Panther, and then Killmonger be Black Panther and her be the ruler of Wakanda, and they work together as a team. Or recast T'Challa with John David Washington, that I've said 500,000 times.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But anyways, WandaVision.
Yeah, sorry. It's supposed to be WandaVision, but we went all the way out there.
No, it's a lot of announcements, so we had to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
But WandaVision, overall, I'm looking forward to next week's episode. We can dive into it more then and just see how everything plays out.
I'm interested because, like I said, I think the third episode's really going to show you more of what's going on. I don't think it's going to be so much of a TV show sitcom thing. I think it's going to be have a more serious tone, in my opinion. I think it's going to be more, something's going to happen.
I agree. Absolutely. Something is going to happen. But I thought, the black and white was cool. It was a vibe. I thought there was a lot of funny parts to it. And, it kind of reminded me of those old, funny little sitcoms.
Absolutely.
And I had a lot of fun with it. Me and my girlfriend were laughing a few scenes, especially the whole gum made him drunk. That was hilarious. And the whole animation with the cartoony intro, but then also his insides, the whole gears turning was all like a little cartoony.
Yeah.
I thought was hilarious. The talent show was funny.
They pushed the beds together, kind of like on I Love Lucy and all that.
Yeah, they was pushing the beds. That was funny. And I'm
and then when she reverses the chicken because she overcooked it, now it's eggs.
Now it's eggs. That was very funny too. But just everything, the hilarity of it, definitely gave me Bewitched vibes, Truman Show, and on Pleasantville.
Yeah.
And kind of, what's the other one? Stepford Wives kind of feel. Is that the one with they're all like kind of creepy, the women and stuff? Yeah, that too. Definitely mostly Truman Show kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Vibes, which I love that movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fantastic movie. But no, I'm looking forward to them. In the next one, I'm hoping they dive into more like what's actually going on and things like that. And, it's tough with a show like this because you just want to know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, because I'm not used to this from Marvel, like having to wait. I'm used to, in like an hour and a half to 2 hours, we know what's going on. Now it's like, no, damn, I got to wait.
Yeah. Every week we're going to keep wanting more. And I feel like, a lot of the people online, that's probably what they didn't like about it.
Yeah.
How these first 2 episodes didn't really give us a lot on what the hell is happening.
No, they didn't.
With this show. Like, what is going on with these 2 characters.
Yeah.
Literally, they gave us, like, not even 1% of, like, what's happening. Yeah. Little tiny things of, like, Wanda controlling this and Vision not really knowing what's going on and this and that. But pretty much all they gave us was that, this is a really weird world that Wanda
is controlling.
Yeah. That's all they gave. They didn't give us who's behind this, who's this, who's that, nothing. Which, it's tough because we want more. We want to know everything, but we have to wait week to week now. I think it was smart for them to do 2 episodes though.
Yeah,
for the premiere.
The first, if they only did one, I'd been like, oh man.
Yeah, I think a lot more people would have been like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah, I think it would turn a lot of people off. Like, okay, I'm not watching this.
So it was smarter than to do 2 episodes, but I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Looking forward to next week's episode for sure. So Scott, where can people find you online to harass you?
Pretty much everything: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is all Scott9406.
Scott9406. Yeah, Yankees.
Hell yeah!
Jets.
Season's come up. Jets. Yeah, they just got a new coach, so hopefully that goes well.
How about those Browns though?
I mean, they're the Browns.
My girlfriend's from Cleveland, so I gotta. We were actually watching the game. It was actually pretty exciting. That first play, I was like, "What the hell is going on right now?"
I mean, the Browns are they're turning around. I wish the Jets were in their shoes because they're actually building around their quarterback, unlike what the Jets did. So,
but I'm sure tomorrow they'll lose against the Chiefs. But hey, they made it this far, which is pretty.
Yeah. I mean, they made the playoffs in like over 20 years.
And they won the wild card game and all that. So it's something to be proud of. Anyways, you can find me everywhere at Nerd Sheet. Share, like, subscribe. Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what you think of WandaVision. Hey, Nick says, "Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing?"
Hey, Nick.
So yeah, let us know. Hit us up. We'll be going live more often now, and hopefully everything works out well. WandaVision.